Everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm just doing another video today about my return to Facebook and how much of a disaster it's been for my political, non-political thing that I do, you know. Because I immediately see, like, there's this picture of Tom Hanks with a shirt that says like 46 better than 45 or whatever. Like, I'm just like, I made a joke, tell that to the Palestinian children. And then someone was talking about Anthony F in a post, like lauding him, and they were fighting about it. And I'm just like, you know, look at the emails, blah blah blah, you know, contradictions. The Rand Paul debates that were lying, like trying to act like he's crazy when he signed off on studies saying this exact same thing that Rand Paul was telling him about. So, those two examples. Will I be talking about politics on Facebook all that much? I don't know. You know, I said what I had to say today, and that's all I'm going to say. I might start, you know, doing some meme stuff and trolling a little bit here and there. You know, like it's a little tiny wrench in the system. You know, what I can get away with, anyways. Like I'm gonna take a profile picture with my classic. One of my classic shirts. I already did. I'm already canceled. Or don't bother, whatever shirt picture. But I'm gonna be doing more so like that. So I don't know. It's still. I'm still getting into arguments. I can't help it. It just happens. But you know, as long as I minimize the arguments and just like go on there like once in a while and just, you know, type in the stuff, I think we're okay. But you know, it's really tough because people are so in their bubble, in their box. And I'm in a box too, whatever you want to call it, anti-establishment box. Oh, the Misfits are like one of the biggest establishment bands now. It's like kind of funny, like my friend said once, like everything that's anti-establishment always gets co-opted and becomes establishment. It's the truth. That's the truth. So I don't know what I'm going to do with regards to Facebook, but I'm going to continue to go on there once in a while. I just post pictures of myself or whatever, sometimes what I'm doing or whatever. I don't really care, but it's something I wanted to get away from, but it's just like it pulled me back in, you know. I'm just gonna do my thing. I don't care. I gotta not be bothered, but of course I'm bothered by stuff that people say. Just it's stupid stuff. I mean, literally stupid stuff, you know. Sometimes literally stupid, like misinformed, uninformed, you know. And there's no fact checkers for that, the bullshit that people put out there sometimes too. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to stay away from the more controversial stuff, even though I've kind of dipped my toe back into it, even on YouTube now with a couple of my last videos. But I don't care, you know. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm really sick of caring about what people think. There was this ex-girlfriend once said, "You care too much about what people think." The irony is she gives really, like, horribly, or I don't know about now, but back then, she really cared about what people thought. There was these defense mechanisms and stuff that she did, but she's like, "You care too much about what people think." Let's think about that with the Upper Wisconsin accent. Oh, Upper Wisconsin accent. Oh, you care about what people... One of my ex-girlfriends. So, I do care about what people think. I do care about society and, you know, what others think of me, and, you know, I don't try to, the thing is, this is the problem, like, with me and certain people that I, you know, talk to. People misunderstand and think that people that are against certain things or talk a lot about certain things or don't like any political candidate or contrarians or iconoclasts, which actually probably is closer to me as being an iconoclast, but I don't really see myself that way. I just apply like music criticism to people, or to people in power, you know, or something like that. I don't know, you know. I just think about things, and I just think about why do these things have to happen? I think my role is to question things, is to go occasionally, okay? Occasionally that's my role. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not my true will, Crowleyan true will about, after all. I don't know. I'll have to do more magic to find out, I guess, or meditation. But but yeah, it's one of those things. I don't want to sit here and say, fuck the government, all of them, and, you know, all the corporations. It's not something I wake up and say, what can I go against today? I think that's a caricature, a cartoonish version of what a contrarian, hopefully they're not strawmanning me into that, people. But yeah, if fucking someone does a laudatory thing about Biden that just seems totally naive and nonsensical, I'll say, well, what do the Palestinian children think about that? You know, I'm gonna make a joke. You know, it's just, it's terrible. It's like, I don't know who what the answer is. I think, like, you know, like The Fourth Turning, this book. I know, ironically, Charles Warwick talked about this years ago. I didn't even know until I watched the video of it last night. You know, it's like we're at this precipice of civilization, and I don't know what's going to really happen with everything. But we are at this turning point. Could go bad or could go good, you know, probably a little bit of both in some ways. But, oh, there's my Metallica stuff. Uh-oh, the Megadeth fanboys will think I'm a Metallica fanboy. I just like making fun of shit, but no. I've seen Megadeth 3 times. I've seen Metallica once back in 1991, and I wouldn't see them now. With all their amp modeling, fucking yodeling, bad drumming bullshit. Bad soloing sometimes. But I love the first 4 Metallicas, you know. Iron Maiden's my favorite band of all time. But anyways, I'll show you my tapestry flags all over the place of Iron Maiden if you want to. Don't believe me? Yeah. So like that brings up another thing. When people don't believe me, that's my biggest pet peeve about politics and the social issues. It's like, do you think I just got this from some Russian bot site or something? Like, that I just read it, you know, it was some post on Facebook or somewhere. Because there is disinformation out there, and there's bad information, misinformation. So it muddies the waters. I wonder if that's on purpose, you know? I mean, all during out this past, you know, the past year plus, I've been looking at the cat totals. I've been looking at the graphs. So I know, like, for example, what my risk assessment is with that stuff. It's higher than maybe, you know, younger people. Just to give an example. But it's not up, you know, it's not in the upper levels, you know. In fact, I did a little survey, Johns Hopkins survey. It was 0.02% is my risk of mortality from that. Allegedly, apparently. I don't know if I put in all the right numbers, because I put 6 feet instead of 5'11.5" as height, and then I put in a guesstimate of my weight, which I haven't weighed myself in months. I've been losing weight, obviously, because I look at myself, look at videos from 3 months ago, I'm like, like, huge fucking double chin that's even worse than now. I was like, holy shit. And this camera is like at the level of me now too. And I was doing that for a while, a couple months ago, but I'm like, I don't even need to do that anymore. I can still see that there's a difference. I am losing weight. But, you know, it's like the whole thing that people don't trust what I say. They think it's a bunch of bullshit. And then, I mean, I do research. I do look into things. I try to do as much as possible. You know, and I look into, you know, to quote Charles Warwick, or not, to paraphrase Charles Warwick, or to reference his stuff, I look into linguistics, you know. I look into things like that about propaganda. So I know when people are at least pushing things a certain direction. And propaganda is not all negative. That's the thing that people don't understand. I mean, World War II propaganda, it was maybe necessary, you know. Maybe the Japanese and the Nazis and the Italians or the fascists were going to take over. you know, so he had to like fluff up this thing and, you know, try to focus on it more. But that's the whole thing of propaganda. It focuses on one thing to the detriment of other things to push a narrative or to push people towards something, like, for example. Yeah, and not to go into that, but I've made my decision about that, and I'm not going to discuss it on here. I mean, it could go one way or the other. I don't know. We'll see, because I made my decision. And people criticize me one way or the other about it. I know that. So, but I'd rather. Anyways, I'm not going to go into that. What my decision is. Maybe I will, but I don't know. People can't really hazard a guess, anyways, what my decision is. It might surprise you. It might not surprise you. But I made my decision because of various things that are going on, unfortunately, that, you know, that actually you probably already guessed what my decision is. I probably shouldn't even, I don't even want to talk about it. It pisses me off so much, but there's certain conditions that I will not live with, for one. That's one thing, that are being foisted on me at this time. So if I had the freedom, if I had the opportunity to not have to follow some bullshit if I don't get it, then we'll have to wait and see, you know, what happens. I'm just saying, I'm pretty close to my decision, I should say. And, you know, certain things are pushing me in a certain direction because I just refuse to comply with some of the stuff, and my livelihood is being threatened if I don't comply. So, and that's probably the decision many people are making, because they're, you know, there's not a mandate. There's not a, other than one place in town that has a mandate. I mean, as far as like going places, but their employers are like, oh, you gotta wear the shame muzzle unless you get the jab. So we'll see. But controversial statement, but you know, it's like, it's definitely not going to be the mainstream one that people, all the other people are getting. By the way, I'll just say there's a little Big Johnson, Big Johnson's poker hall involved. You remember Big Johnson shirts from the 90s? Pretty poker in the rear, liquor in the front. All those sexist shirts, they're hilarious. I just like them. I don't know. Actually, you know, that kind of inspired my my mask shirt. My hey baby, whatever. I'm gonna wear it in a picture, but you know. But speaking of that, there's a lot of masturbators out there today. Like, go to the grocery store. Still a lot of people wearing the thing. God damn it. Hopefully, okay. I'm just worried about my YouTube video. I'm getting a little extra paranoid and anxious. But yeah, like, there's a lot of masturbators. I'm sure they've had the jab. You know, it's like, who's believing the experts now, bitch? Who's believing the science now? And then I saw this. I had this date like fucking last year, November last year, and I'm still subscribed to her on Snapchat. And she posts some like virtue signaling thing. For those that are still aren't going to wear masks anymore, my chronically ill friends. It's like, ugh. Did you ever wear masks before this whole thing? In front of your chronically, you know, whatever risk conditions friends? You know? No, you know, probably not. Fucking virtue signaling. She went on a date with me and went to basically a speakeasy in this era, because there was the only restaurant open in the region, because they were closed down by the governor. So talk about hypocrisy, posting this fucking virtue signaling thing. So you feel this emotion about something that you're threatened by, and you have to push it out because sometimes you're threatened by it. Just like the fucking pastors that are getting blowjobs from gay hookers and stuff, and they're going on homophobic rants. It's kind of the same thing. I'm sure a lot of these masturbators, or people online who are masturbators, are going to, you know, they're engaging in some other form of risky behavior themselves, and they're just going, you know. So I don't know, this video went all over the place. This is going to be kind of a vlog type of video, I guess, but I don't care. I'm just going to keep talking until I run out of shit to say. So that's one thing that bothers me about that. And yeah, you know, been weighing my options with certain things. And people might be pissed. Some of my audience might be pissed because I'm, you know, kind of a little more on the fence or nebulous, or maybe even, I mean, you just look at the, you look at the numbers. It might, I don't know. It's hard to say because if you look at the numbers, it's kind of confusing because I look at the numbers compared to different months and it seems similar to last June, which is ironic because everything was fucking closed, but maybe that's the effect they want. I don't know, you know. If it's gonna be bringing us back to the old normal, then maybe it is. But people that are fucking virtue signaling about masks, even after the fucking Action Jackson Nation, fuck you, you know? Fuck you, really, you're a piece of shit. If you fucking virtue signal about masks after that, you're not trusting the experts, believing the science. Fuck off. You're you know, it's like Manowar says, if you're not into metal, if you're not into metal, you're not my friend. If you are wearing a mask after the Action Jackson Nation, or you want people to, you are not my friend. Because you're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot. Who's this? Who believes the science now, bitch? Right? I don't mean bitch. I was thinking of this before I saw the snap, so I'm not referring to her as the bitch. But you know, it's just so stupid. It's just so dumb. Just the fucking shaming and just the virtue signaling of everybody. You know, and maybe I should just say, like, some of it from the other side is bad too. You know, making fun of people wearing masks. They're scared. These people. They're really scared. I mean, with some good reason and some not good reason, obviously. If in your fucking car alone, it's not good reason. No matter what anybody says, it's not good reason. But yeah, I mean, it makes me mad. It's pissing me off. Today I got pissed about it. But I went to the grocery store without the ritualistic shame muzzle. Wasn't really looked at it by a lot of people, but I saw people wearing it. I'd say about a third of people or a quarter of people were still wearing it. And they definitely had that liberal look about them. Just like Republicans, like this fat fucking old boomer-ish guy with, you know, this frown on his face. That's like the Republican stereotype, right? You know, like older dude, you know. You know, that's their, and then it's like these young, emaciated fucking soy-looking, drinking-looking guys or women, you know, that are on the other end. You know, they're both, fuck both of them, you know. They both suck, right? I mean, not the people, not the looks. I'm just saying, like, the both sides suck, right? I don't know. So, what was this video about? Facebook, right? I'm back on Facebook. I'm gonna just not give a fuck anymore about what people think. I'm just gonna try actively, other than my employer, which is telling me these things, you know, telling me this bullshit. I mean, I guess we're working from home indefinitely until whatever, unless you volunteer, and then you have to, you know what, unless you want to be muzzled all day. So yeah, I'm weighing my options. And yeah, I do, you know, I am obese to some extent, not super obese, but you know, I'm obese, I'm getting up there in age. I'm not quite at that cutoff point, you know, if you know what I mean. You know, like what number was our last president cutoff point? That number is the age that I'm not at yet. The, you know, 4 or 5, I'm not there yet. I'm not quite there yet, but you know, it's like, that is pretty much the cutoff point from my, what I've looked into as far as the rates going way up. Well, it's like that, and then it goes up, and then it goes way up above 60 and above, you know, 70 and stuff. And then for some reason, like 88, like, I saw like, you get in the 80s and it kind of stabilizes. It's kind of weird. I'm talking about death. Oh man, death. Not the band Death, but it's so metal to talk about death, man. The mortality. I'm gonna form a band called Impending Doom about the, you know, Cat Dog Cat or whatever, saying there was gonna be impending doom in a month, and it never happened. Impending Doom. You know, just think about some of these, you know, these bands. It's like, I don't know, all these statements, you know, like impending doom, and what was the other one? I was thinking of a band name, just fucking about, from all these from all these public health officials, like their statements. I could just come out with band names for people, you know, impending doom and fucking, you know, I don't know. It's just funny. It's just horrible. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this whole thing. That's part of the reason why I am leaning towards the, you know what, because I just want to stop thinking about it forever. And I'm not gonna try to push the booster shit and all that, of course, but and the variants, and they're gonna try to push all that shit. But you know what? One shot, done. That's it. I'm gonna if I do do it, yeah. If I do decide to do it, one shot. That's it. I've never taken the other FLU thing ever. Okay, ever. I could have killed people all throughout my life. Going to get that orange juice and that ibuprofen from Walgreens every time I'm, you know, sick. It's like I could have killed people everywhere. You know, I'm a serial killer with that. So I've never had the jab for that. Fucking just this moronic like commentary. And you know, like that girl on Snapchat that I had to date with. I mean, if she wants to stay home, even after having the Action Jackson Nation, I'm using code words, that's her choice. If she wants to hide in her fucking bird cage, literally, it was a joke, pun unintended, if you know what I'm talking about. If she wants to hide in that, that's her problem, not mine. That's not my problem. I'm gonna be out there, even regardless. I mean, and, you know, get the, just looking at my insurance payment text. Yeah, if she wants to hide in her fucking home, you know, forever, that's her problem, you know. Get these weird Tinder dates once in a while, I guess. You know, anybody that wants to do that, that's their fucking, that's not my problem. Speaking of, I got a text from someone. It's pretty funny, but I don't give a flying fuck, man. Once, I'm just gonna go out there, total freedom, you know, regardless of what happens, you know, regardless of what happens in the future, I'm just gonna say fuck it all, you know, because I've been cooped up myself. Did RPGs once a week with about 3 or 4 people all throughout, and I saw certain family members all throughout who weren't at risk, by the way, really. Were not at risk, I should say, all throughout. So of course I was shamed for not quarantine, the quarantine ban. We have this quarantine. Fucking hate that. The only thing I liked were the streaming bans. I don't mind that, but the people with quarantine sessions, we play in our Zoom cameras. Fuck off. I would have rather, you know, if I was in a regular touring band, I'd either be in the studio or, you know, my home studio or whatever, and just shut the fuck up, or do one of those stream things. Nothing more, nothing less. I think that quarantine shit just gave me a bad taste in my mouth. Of course, I'm not supposed to smell or taste. Get it? Yeah. So I'm full of zingers today. It was terrible zingers. But this whole thing is just fucking, it's a mess. So, and Facebook is still a disaster, you know, by the way, just people saying stupid shit. But, you know, I'm going to post memes once in a while. I'm going to post a fucking, you know, message. I'm going to wear my offensive shirts on there and see what happens, you know. Just like my mask. Hey, baby, show me your face. I think it's fucking great, you know. And I already got some accolades for one of the shirts that I posted on there like a week ago when I went back on. First time coming back onto Zuckerberg's platform. And yeah, I had some posts that were like spam or something, where I was looking, I haven't been on there a long time. Like, posts were marked as spam that I posted like months ago. I don't give a fuck. Fuck those people, man. You know? It's like, this whole thing's a mess. It's almost like a rife for parody. Like, I think even the left knows that this shit is fucking, a lot of the left knows this censorship and all this fact-checking everything every 5 minutes. It's fucking stupid. It's pointless. It makes it worse. It makes the conspiracy theorists, you know, more right. There's like this thing on Twitter lately I've been reading called Alex Jones Was Right. And I don't think Alex Jones is right. I'm just saying, like, fucking, you know, when things come, you know, there's some law that's passed or some ordinance or some mandate or some, you know, corporation does something. It's like, oh, Alex Jones was right 15 years ago about this or that, you know. Or recently, not as much, because he's ball hugging Trump for whatever reason. And a lot of nefarious forces kind of infiltrated that operation, in my opinion. Watch Melinda and Aaron Dykes on Melissa and Aaron Dykes on YouTube and elsewhere, or Corbett Report, or oh, now I'm gonna get a flag for sure. All these, you know, all these different people that have a better point of view than Mr. Jones, right? It's unfortunate that he's like the front of that community when there's way better people that are do way more research, you know. And then, you know, at the same time, you should follow, you know, Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi and people like that. They're on the left, but, you know, it's the smarter left that's still left. It's still left in more ways than one. Corporatism is not left-wing, right? Corporatism and fucking military-industrial complex are not left-wing, no matter how woke they are. No matter how fucking woke they are. It's like those stupid Army CIA ads about, well, I had 2 mothers and now I'm gonna fight for freedom. Fight for freedom for the corporations, yeah. Fight for freedom for the government to do what, you know, they will in their regional bullshit, right? It's just, it's a mess, it's a disaster. I never knew. So, you know, you see, this brings me to another point. I'm just blabbing. This is gonna be a 30-minute video, I know. Brings me to a new point, that, it's an inside joke. So this brings me to another point, that the left has co-opted a lot of right-wing ideas, sort of, or they're kind of going more towards right-wing stuff, like military-industrial complex and corporatism, big tech corporatism, and then the right is like, you know, the left is, some of the left is doing that, or they're just kind of like disguising their fucking corporatism and stuff. And then the right is like co-opting all this left-wing stuff. Like, I was listening to, like, there's this like ridiculous Rush Limbaugh like show that's still on. It's like they play clips of Rush from back in the day, and then they have some other guy, and he says all this stuff about, he said stuff about the IMF, about the fucking IMF. I remember when that was the biggest thing, like the biggest enemy on the left, the IMF, you know. He's like talking about, oh, the IMF will take over, and they're, you know, these are left-wing talking points for years about the IMF and these organizations like that are exploiting the third world and stuff. I was like, holy shit, what happened? You know? And of course there's some right-wing, you know, evangelical shit mixed in there, and, you know, fear-mongering and stuff, and, you know, quasi, you know, sort of, you know, racial stuff or whatever, or anti-PC or whatever. Of course that's still in there, but they're like talking about the IMF. I was surprised that the fucking 2016 platform Republican Party actually had things to reinstate. They were talking about reinstating Glass-Steagall. I'm like, dude, what the hell happened? Did these parties switch? Or did the real left go to the right? I'm just like, nothing became of it, of course, but nevertheless, it was there. And that's one of the things that I do see a shift on. That's why I can't really say, like, Republicans are the more evil ones anymore necessarily, you know, because of this, some of the stuff that's happening. And of course, I don't know if it's, you know, a lot of it's just a charade, of course, just like the woke corporatism on the left, because the left will fall in line with this wokeism, and they think, oh, these people are like us, you know, they're pro, you know, pro LGBTQ plus rights, or they're pro feminism or whatever, or they're pro BLM or whatever. Oh, they're just like us. Even though they're bombing people and fucking censoring people and fucking, like, bombing a lot of, you know, supporting Palestinian genocide, right? Fucking these people. A woke corporatism is a fucking charade. It's a sales pitch. It's bullshit. I was gonna do a separate video about that. I guess this is like 10 videos in one now, because your variety pack video today from the Man Master. So yeah, it's just fucking bullshit, and I'm so sick of it. This, you know, that meme with the bomber plane with the Black Lives Matter and the rainbow flag. That meme is just so true nowadays. You know, who are the, you know, in a way, it's like, you almost want to have some kind of Republican bigot fucking asshole. At least they're telling the truth. It's like, oh, I want to bomb people. Who cares? We're America. Oh, you know, and I hate that shit. But it's like it's less hypocritical than the other stuff, at least. And you know, I'm all about hypocrisy. No, I would not rather have either one, but it's ridiculous. It's silly, and it makes those Republicans look better by the hour. All this stuff. So yeah. So back to the original subject at hand. Facebook sucks, and it always will. YouTube is less censorious than Facebook. Dare I say that? At this point, at this juncture. Twitter is less censorious than Facebook. No joke. Like, I've seen stuff on Twitter that they got away with that never will get on Facebook. It's a fucking pile of dirt, you know, Facebook in comparison to even YouTube and Twitter. And those are censorious enough. And then you'll say, misinformation, fact check, fact check, fact check, fact check this motherfucker. Peace out.